Amy and Tammy Slayton have become big names in the last few years with their TLC show, 1,000-Pound Sisters. But years before the show started airing, the sisters were involved in a massive controversy that involved scamming people out of hundreds of dollars. The way they tricked everyone into thinking that something was seriously wrong with Tammy will leave you speechless. Before we started watching them on TLC, Amy and Tammy were YouTube sensations. On Amy's channel, they would post videos of them living their everyday lives and even joining in on fun online challenges. The YouTube channel was actually a huge success as it gained over 100,000 subscribers and a large audience watching their every move. But it seems like they took advantage of this pretty early on, and it all finally came crashing down for them when they decided to scam everyone that watched them into giving up their money. But how exactly did that happen in the first place? Well, it all started when Amy uploaded a video to her channel in April of 2015 where she was crying and claiming that Tammy had been taken to the hospital. She said that Tammy had come down with pneumonia and couldn't breathe. Then she claimed that she would need to purchase a special coffin for Tammy when they go to bury her, because a regular one would be too small. And of course, since it would need to be special ordered, it was also going to cost way too much for her. So she begged everyone to donate whatever they could, whether that be a penny, a nickel, or a dime. Amy said that anything would help her and make her happy during this difficult time. The video was relatively short, but extremely emotional and heartfelt, which made people really think that something really was wrong. Up until that point, she hadn't ever posted a video like that before, and it was a major shift in the usual tone of her videos at the time. There have been some other videos on her channel that talked about serious or crazy experiences Tammy has had, but nothing like this one, since it really looked like she was crying real tears. At the same time as Amy uploaded the video, she also launched a Gofundme page to collect the donations. And naturally, she had a lot of people concerned. Many were upset to think that Tammy might actually pass away. The Gofundme made over $1,000 after launching, but things started to go downhill for the sisters fast. Just a couple days later, Amy posted a video with Tammy in the background laughing and having fun. While it was great to see that Tammy had survived, things weren't exactly adding up in the whole timeline of events. For one, it seemed incredibly strange that Tammy would be back so quickly, looking as healthy as she did in that video. Tammy appeared to show no signs of going through a terrible illness, let alone one that almost caused her to lose her life. For most people in this situation, even if they did recover enough to return home after a couple days, there's no way they would be up and joking around. So people started to become suspicious that she was never sick in the first place. But that wasn't the only thing that seemed off about the story. When Amy was first telling the story, it seemed like Tammy had only been in the hospital for a day before making the video. So it was extremely weird that Amy would feel the need to start planning a funeral so soon. Even if it was as sudden as she claimed it to be, there's just no way that she would need to be thinking about arranging funeral plans at that time. And when you combine that with Tammy looking completely healthy just a couple days later, it seemed pretty clear that the whole thing was just an obvious lie for money. After that, the sisters started receiving massive amounts of hate from all directions, and they were deemed to be untrustworthy. Of course, once the news was out, Amy took down the video and the Gofundme page, as she has done in the past for her previous controversies as well. But she never gave the money back to the people that donated, which makes it even more apparent what the real intended outcome of this whole thing was. But people still demanded answers. So Amy finally caved in and claimed that the money was given to her mother so that they could pay bills. Something that was a decent cause, but it still didn't excuse the fact that the whole thing was stealing, because the money was given under completely false pretenses and it wasn't used for what she said it would be used for. With the continuous hate, Amy then claimed that she'd be giving all the money back to people who wanted it, but once again, that never happened, and the money was completely unaccounted for. Suspiciously enough, Amy did purchase a new laptop right around the same time that the whole thing went down. So a lot of people came to the conclusion that that was most likely where all the money went. Amy later made claims that she did spend the money on the laptop, but that she needed it in order to better edit her videos, which really seemed like a strange claim, considering just how little effort was put into the videos and the channel as a whole. Many of the videos had barely any edits and didn't even use thumbnails. While she eventually started using thumbnails, she would just use the same one over and over again. So the whole thing just looked like an afterthought. Whatever their excuse was, it seemed like nothing quite added up or made any sense. At that point, it just seemed pretty obvious that they only did it because they wanted the money to spend on whatever they wanted. And they essentially tugged on the hearts of hundreds of people and tricked them out of their hard-earned money just to buy something fun. What makes the story even more interesting though is the fact that not too long after it all went down, Tammy spoke out about the situation. Up until that point, Tammy had only been featuring on Amy's channel, and it seemed pretty obvious that the channel as a whole belonged to Amy alone. So Tammy decided to make her own YouTube channel, and in some of the first uploads she ever posted, she shared a video titled "Spilling the Tea." In the video, she claimed that she was never a part of the whole funeral scam, scam and that the whole thing was Amy's idea. And to everyone watching, they believed her, and Tammy was considered to be the good sister between the two. With Amy collecting a large amount of hate from previous controversies, people were more inclined to believe Tammy. And there's no doubt that the laptop probably cost Amy all the $1,000 that she received from the scam. It's interesting that people used to think that Tammy was the good one though, since it looks like public opinion on them has changed a lot over the years. These days, Amy comes across as the reliable, dependable, and more reasonable sister between the two of them. But honestly, both of them have found themselves in a list of controversies that have caused some rather mixed opinions about them as a whole. While we might see Amy as the more reliable sister now, you can't help but remember what she was like before their TLC show. Although she looks different now and might come at things in a different way, the person behind all of her many controversies is still there. And Tammy has shown her own true colors too, which does make sense considering how close she is with Amy. It's no surprise that the two of them share a lot of similar characteristics in their personalities. But anyway, what do you guys think about this whole thing? Do you think Tammy was involved in the scam, or do you think she was telling the truth? Do you think the money was spent on a new laptop or something else? Let me know in the comments below.